Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rare Book Cafe Coffee Break Edition. My guest this week, Scott Givens, who's running the Rose City, Portland, Oregon Book Fair on June 16th, 17th. Is that right?
Yep, next week.
Next week, week and a half away. Welcome. We're brought to you every week on Facebook and YouTube. Rare Book Cafe Coffee Break, where we talk about everything in the book ecosystem and sip on a little bit of coffee. This coffee came from Panera. Panera's got this deal called the Sip Club. For $8.99 a month, you can have as much coffee as you want. But if you pay by credit card, you can only have coffee every 2 hours, technically, because they got it. They check the time on your credit card. But if you pay cash,
Every 2 hours you can have coffee.
yes, if you go, not only do they have coffee, they have this juice like raspberry lemonade and mint chocolate chip juice, whatever, and the juice is injected with caffeine.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You can get so jazzed at Panera Bread Cafe. Oh, by the way, we need a new sponsor for this show.
Boy, we sure do.
I think we're going to copy this and send it off to Panera and see if they'd like to promote literacy and book ecosystems every single week. Yeah. Anyway,
Good luck with that.
hey, you'd be surprised. I mean, they were a very social company. They used to give, let's say, come in and you can have up to $5 of food once a day.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and there wasn't one far from here. And here is Crooked House Books in Portland, Oregon. For many, many years, this bookshop was run by the famous Rachel Markley. And now in her stead, Scott Givens, who's been very active in Northwest Books. He's been the president of the Cascade Booksellers Association. And this year, he's running the show.
We're in the book fair, at least, yeah. Yeah. But fortunately, not doing both at the same time, which Rachel did, I think, twice. And just,
She was president
That's-
of the CBA and ran the book fair.
yeah, and that's a lot of work.
And it sure was. And she ran it well.
Yeah.
All right, no pressure, no pressure. But you have a little shop. You have a walk-in shop here in Northeast Portland. But you've been in the book trade for quite a while.
I've been doing it for 20 years. I had two stores in south of Portland and moved up here just recently, just last year. And now running Crooked House, and it's a different experience, but it's a lot of fun because it's books that they're more fun books than just the standard things that you sell over and over.
Right. Well, I mentioned the CBA, the Cascade Booksellers Association, which is an association of more than 70?
More than 80 now.
Wow, more
Actually,
than,
Close. I think right now close to 90.
no kidding.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of new ones from the book fair.
Great.
Yeah.
Close to 90 booksellers in Oregon and Washington, as that's our geography, right?
Yeah.
90 independent booksellers. Well, let me tell you, there's so many, many more out there. Scott, why is the book industry so vibrant out here in the Pacific Northwest? What's your theory?
Two theories. One is certainly the weather. We're inside a lot. And the other, I think, actually, Powell's has something to do with it.
Oh, no question.
And they are, the large. They say I don't know what all their, marketing is, but they're a big store, and they sell a lot of books, and they're famous, and they're a tourist attraction, and just by being as big and as good as they are, they've really fostered a love of reading as well as a love of collecting and selling up here in the Northwest.
Not an uncommon. I mean, look, we've had Nike out here in Portland.
Right.
Now you look around, we've got the national or the international headquarters of many shoe companies. Adidas is here.
Adidas is up here, yeah,
and many more. And many more have spawned from that as well.
Right.
It's the same thing in the booking.
Very similar, yeah. And there's a lot of dealers who used to work at Powell's and now have their own business. So yeah.
There's a third one, in my opinion. Tell me what you think about this one. Liberalism. We're woke. Woke people read books.
Maybe the it could be the higher education is correlated with liberalism and with reading, and so if you put those two together, then yeah, both Portland and Seattle are pretty liberal cities. Um, and I think, in Seattle with a pretty high income from Amazon and Microsoft
Yeah.
and Boeing and everything else, there's a higher education. There's a lot of
Right.
a lot of readers up there and a lot of collectors up there.
Yeah.
So,
Great. So tell me a little bit more about the fair.
so the fair. Let's see. This is fair number 17.
17, and this is 2023, so 2006.
And what's interesting is
2006?
we actually went through the pandemic because in 2020 we had a virtual fair, and we were actually the first organization to have a virtual.
We
book
were.
fair. Yeah.
That's right. And that was Rachel put that together. The first organization that had a virtual fair.
Yeah, and then in 2021, at the very end,
Okay, I just want to say, Marvin Getman, I know we have you on the show later this week, coming up next. I don't want to say you stole Rachel's idea, but you did a little bit better than she did, and I'm looking forward for you telling all of our visitors out there about that.
well, the cool thing about the Getman Fair, so the fair that we did was interesting because we just told dealers we're going to make a place for you to go, and you figure out what you want to do. And Getman was able to create like a whole kind of database thing, and it's more of like a shopping experience. And the one we did was more of a personal. Hey, one person just did a Facebook Live stream.
Right.
I had a bunch of catalogs on mine, and other people just were very creative with how they did, and it was a lot of fun
Yeah.
because the thing about book fairs that Rachel really believed in was it's more about the connections you make
Oh, absolutely.
than about, hey, I am going to buy this first edition, whatever.
I have done the fair 4, maybe 5 times, and I will tell you, I found more new business than what I sold at the fair at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
But I found people were coming up to me, my grandfather's book, I have this one thing. Oh, I'm responsible for this person's legacy. Can you please help me? And the community contact is invaluable.
For sure. And all the dealers, it's fun having a real Northwest flavor to the fair because a lot of the dealers know each other. Person comes into your booth and says, hey, I want, first edition, whatever. And you say, oh, I don't have it, but you know what? This guy over here has got one.
Yes. The camaraderie, the collegiality in the book business. Imagine at least, and then there's got to be at least twice that. Imagine, you said 90 members. Let's say it's even half of that. 150 other booksellers in the Pacific Northwest that aren't even members of the CBA. We all get along. We all have different business models, different business plans. Some are online, some sell on eBay, some have open shops, some are open by appointment only, and then the diversity of the books.
Well, and in your opening statement, you were talking about the ecosystem, and that's really what it is because everyone is, we all do things differently, and so we're not directly competing necessarily.
Yes.
And there's enough books, there's enough customers, there's enough business, especially in the Northwest, that we don't need to be cutthroat
Right.
about each other.
The one thing that book dealers do protect a little bit is their sources. Where'd you find it? Where'd you get that? I got a call from somebody. Somebody's grandmother passed away.
Yeah, sources especially that might repeat in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But
exactly.
if it's just I went to whatever and I found this, then fine.
Anyways, I think we got some photographs of the upcoming fair. A couple items that are going to be in the fair. Alan, can you pull those up for them? Let's take a quick glance. There's our logo. Our logos have always been so whimsical. Has the same person done these logos year after year? They all seem to have a little bit of similarity.
The past 2 years we've had a designer. The previous year we had a children's book illustrator do it, and then before that we usually did it in house.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Nice.
But it turns out so this is my first year doing the organizing, and that logo we have over 30 different copies or different versions of it.
Black and white, pink and blue.
No, just different sizes of what, because every website, every publication, they all have their own little things, and so I just emailed my designer. I'm like, okay, this is the size I need. I don't know anything, and she makes the art. It's great. Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of work.
All right, let's take a look at some of those
What do we
books.
got? Yeah.
This first one I know. Oh, Gravity's Rainbow. Is that one happened to be signed?
It's not signed.
but-
It's a first edition.
All right, well,
and
for even a first edition are extremely rare.
And I know that there's also a copy of V and Crying of Block 49 in the same condition. And then here.
That's a
That's
little
just,
wonky.
so that's actually mine. It's a
Let me put my glasses on here. Hold on, I gotta lean
it's a
in.
menu from the Jolly Roger Inn at Disneyland.
Oh.
And if that's too woke for you guys, you know.
Well, speaking up here in the Northwest, we used to have a breakfast place called Little Black Sambo's.
Sure, I went there as a kid all the time.
Yeah, and I don't think that they even closed down until the early 2000s. The last one out on the coast.
They changed the name to Sambo's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Maybe 15, 20, I don't know, a while ago. But then I think they finally did close.
Yeah. And now I think the name of it is just Big Cheap Pancake Store.
Big Cheap Pancakes, yeah. We're not IHOP.
There's been so much controversy about Little Black Sambo. I imagine a menu from that diner would be an interesting piece of ephemera.
Yeah, for the right person.
Yeah, for the right person.
Yeah.
Menu collectors. What else have we got? Oh, Little Woman. That was another thing that Crooked House Books has been famous for, or their publisher covers.
Publisher's binding. So this is an example of a publisher's binding, and it's something that we've done since the beginning, pretty much. And there's different ways to approach it. They're these books that were designed to be really beautiful, and lately we've seen a resurgence of this impulse because
what are the years of those publishing?
So usually when you're talking about publishers bindings, you're talking about like 1850 to 1940.
Okay.
Those are the extremes. But in the last 5 or 10 years, since ebooks have started to make a dent in book sales,
right,
publishers have specifically looked at publishers bindings from that era, and they are redesigning them now. So Penguin, for example, is making this whole series. This is not about the book fair. They're making a new publisher's binding series. So, yeah.
Well, I got to handle one of the most famous. Actually, I handled 2 copies of one of the Jane Austen, the Peacock edition.
Yep.
Oh,
that's a
fabulous.
beautiful book. Yeah.
Yeah, one was kind of okay edition. The other one was very good.
Yeah.
It was a VG, and that went for 4 figures.
Yeah. No, it would. Yeah. No, you're lucky to have had those. That's great.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Well, I think we're going to about be wrapping it up here, everybody. This is the Rose City Book Fair in Portland, Oregon. I wanted one more thing before we go away. We were talking about Crooked House Books doing publisher bindings. The other thing that was unique, I wonder if you're still doing it here, are subscriptions. Rachel used to have a system where you paid so much for once a month or so much for 3 months, and then you would get a surprise, or she would send you a special genre. That's another interesting thing about, we're talking about the business plan of book dealers. Everybody can do something a different way.
Yeah, and that one's fun, actually, because my biggest seller in that is cookbooks. And so I go around to every dealer in Portland. I beg them to sell me cheap.
You didn't come to me. I had 2 boxes of them.
Well, okay. Almost every dealer.
So what is it? What's the annual subscription for a cookbook a month?
It's $235, I think.
$20 a book.
Yeah, and so what you
That's
get
nothing.
is we select a book that's worth about $20, and then it's wrapped cutely, and there's little stuff that happens.
Brown paper package is tied up with string.
Exactly.
Books are a few of my favorite things. I think that puts a lid on it, folks. All right, welcome back to the Rare Book Cafe, the coffee break edition. Panera, don't forget 503-319-6358. I'll work out a deal for you on hosting or sponsoring the show. Thank you, Scott. It was a pleasure having you.
All right, take care.
See you soon, everybody.